Hello there and welcome to the Coffee with Colin, and thank you for joining me. Happy New Year. I was thinking over the Christmas New Year period about something I read during the year, and it was where somebody said many of us live our lives like we're reading a novel, waiting to see how it all turns out. And when you think of it, that's a bit ludicrous really, because the reality is we're writing our own novels, the story of our lives, one day at a time, one week at a time. And for us to just sit back, if you like, and wait for life to do its thing is a bit ridiculous really, waiting to see how the novel turns out when in fact we're writing it ourselves. And if we accept for a moment that in fact we are writing the novels of our lives, we're writing the chapters, well then it's up to us to write the novel, to write the story the way we would like it to turn out. Now, of course, if you're going to sit down and write a book, it would make sense that you would at least have some shape in mind, some end point that the book would be leading to. And the same is true for your life. You can't just, bump from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, and expect it to all work out magically. You've got to figure out, how do you want your life story to end, and then work backwards from there. One of my favourite all-time thought leaders is Stephen Covey, and he asks us to consider our lives from the vantage point of looking back on our lives from our 80th birthday. And it's a very interesting take on life really, because in reality we will have lived the majority of our lives at that stage. So the question is, what life do we want to lead between wherever we are today and our 80th birthday? And one way to do that is to write the novel of our own lives. We're the ones in charge. We're the ones with pen in hand. And it's up to us exactly what we write. But we've got to start with a vision for what it looks like when we get to our 80th birthday. And as I say, work backwards from there. And then we've got to make each year count. And how do you make the year count? Well, it's very interesting that we're talking about this in the first week of the year, because the reality is the way we make the year work is very simple. We make the week work. We make 1 week work. Another Stephen Coveyism that I love, the week is a perfect patch in the fabric of life. And if you think about that one, that's so true. The week is a perfect patch in the fabric of life. Your entire life, my entire life, the entire year is made up of weeks, and each week is exactly the same size. Each week is 7 days, 7 nights, it's 168 hours. And I've got this picture in my head of a wonderful patchwork quilt that one might throw on a bed, made up of 52 equally sized patches, but all of them absolutely different, because if we're living life to the full, well then it really shouldn't be Groundhog Day. It really shouldn't be the same day, the same week repeated ad infinitum. Really and truly there should be variety in our lives. So if you want to make the year work, if you want to make 2019 work for you, well, I recommend you start the year by considering your 80th birthday. Go all the way out to your 80th birthday and figure out, how would you like that day to look? What would you like your legacy to look like and feel like on that date? And then, as I say, work backwards from there. And the starting point is to make 2019 work. And how do you make 2019 work? 1 week at a time. Right, we're talking about this in the very first week of January 2019, so we've got the very best opportunity of making 2019 work for us. But we can only do that if we make week 1 work for us. And we do that by getting a clear picture of our 80th birthday, and then bringing it right back to 2019 and asking ourselves, in the context of our 80th birthday, what do we want to achieve in 2019? And then the objective is very simply to make week 1 work, is to take a step, determine what step you need to take in week 1 of 2019 to give yourself the best opportunity of making 2019 work. If you make 2019 work, well then the rest should be a doddle. So how are you going to do that? Well, the novel of your life is going to be written between now and your 80th birthday. Next chapter is going to be written in 2019, and the first page of the next chapter is going to be written in week 1 of 2019, in the next week. So what you need to do is you need to figure out what aspect of your life needs the most work. What's the big rock in relation to your life at this moment in time? It's health perhaps, wealth perhaps, relationships perhaps, or spirit perhaps. One of those 4 is probably out of whack. Perhaps, if you're like most of us, most of them are a little out of whack. But you've got to pick one. Pick one that you feel you need to work on. And then figure out what the most important thing is that you need to work on in that area, whether it's health, wealth, relationships, or spirit. And then you've got to figure out then the one thing, the one thing question. What one thing could you do next week that would have the biggest positive impact on that big rock in that area of your life? And then go do it. And thank you for joining me for this week's Coffee with Colin. Please go make next week count. See you here this time next week. Sláinte. I really love great coffee. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.